Yeah. Okay, we're good. Got it. Wrong button. Okay, we're good. My name and last name are hidden. Yep. Okay, we're good. Everything's good. Yes. Okay. Before we start, I'm gonna just leave a massive warning now. Like, actually, like a massive, massive warning. Um, okay, I'm gonna just tell you what's happening right now. This video is being divided up into three parts, but is recorded in one session. It's broken up. So each chapter, even though the story is far from finished and probably won't be finished anytime soon, whenever a new chapter does come out, I'll probably read it. But I will warn you one thing now, and I better not see any comment at all, because even I myself already know that this could lead to very massive issues, but I do not care. This and might lead to potential, because of this book being a dystopian fantasy, can lead to hints of racism. Thus, what is the topic of this story? Is racism going so far that everybody's just divided by race and ethnicity? But do not worry about like N words and all that other stuff being dropped. I am not that kind of person who will do that and ever will do that. This book has no racial slurs right now. Hopefully, there never will be any time where I will use them. Nor are there racial stereotype typical jokes or whatnot in the story, but that doesn't mean they will come later down the line. If this is already enough wanting you to go away from this video, go away from this video. Because I do not want people yelling at me in the comments saying I'm racist as hell just because I am just writing a story that I'm passionate about, but not like actually the person who is racist at all, because I've never been racist once and never plan to be. And this story is not about to affect my social life because a bunch of people want to just destroy me and be an absolute jerk. And that's about it that I have to say for this video. Also, do not complain that this is not family friendly at all. This channel has never been family friendly and never will be until YouTube has an issue with what we do. Maybe we'll tone down the swearing, but that will probably never happen anytime soon. Just note that if you're somehow letting your kid watch this, then that's fine by me. But we've never been family friendly, and I'm addressing this now that this book definitely shows that. And yes, I know I'm young, so as you can see, there's a lot of grammar mistakes, some that I probably haven't even seen yet, so just ignore that. I am young, and I just write this out in my free time. And this is by far the farthest I've ever gotten any of the story. Like, honestly, no story has ever reached as lengthy as this story ever has. But besides that, we're gonna start now. And yeah, enjoy. As we go through this theater, that will probably last us like 1 to 2 hours. But for you guys, will probably last 30 minutes for each section, depending on how long it takes me to read 12 goddamn pages on this damn book. So let's get started. Okay, I need, hold on. There's, okay, we're good. Okay, everything's good. Okay, I'm nervous to start. Okay. I am I am regretting my life choices, but I've decided to do this. I'm doing this anyway. Okay. Wake up, dumbass, someone yelled. The noise echoed through the room I was in. Bro, it's not even 7:30 a.m. You know that's when we all should wake up, should be up. I still was facing the wall, as I never had the bother to turn around to face who was up ahead. Today is a different story. The leader needs to speak to you. I pushed myself up as Tyler stood over the door, his camo clothes covering him full as his rifle strapped around him. What does the leader possibly want? I blurted out to Tyler. Just go, you dumbass. You can't keep him waiting any longer. Tyler shouted. His voice is demanding as a leader. Should I get into my camo suit or what? How dumb are you? You don't need it at this time. You're not outside the border now, are you now? Tyler slapped his face. I knew he was already disappointed. I'm annoyed enough that he is my roommate, and the fact that he is standing right in front of my door doesn't make this situation any worse. Ah, why are you wearing this camo suit then? To you up? He said. What do you think I'm wearing my camo suit for, you dumbass? God. Just get out of my damn room, I sighed at him. As he walked away, his rival slowly shifting side to side as he walked down the hall and opened the door. I pursued down the hall after him as I pulled the wooden door wide open. The sun beamed through the clouds that scattered the sky as it dashed out through the light door and faced my left. The stone building stood in front of its golden sign, barely glittered with its V-shaped pattern. As I looked around, many houses stood through the roof, stood through the roof, many of which were as silent as a mouse, with not a single noise to be heard, while others were filled with busy adults with cars barely littering the streets. As I pushed the wooden door, the torches hung through the halls in front of my view as the red carpet and I walked in. The moment I did, the door suddenly slammed shut. I can already tell that's probably gonna get me killed from someone. I don't care. So I see you finally arrived, the voice trickled through the halls. Yes, sir. Come down. Ah, ah! I'm not even gonna touch my mouse. Stay there. Come down. I have something important for you to do, he demanded at once. I stepped through the hallway, having the carpet silence the footsteps that followed. I couldn't help but think at this point what he wanted ever since we claimed land in this very small town of Wapaka. The only notable thing that stands out now is a giant factory nearby, but ever since the Great Divide became the palace for a leader. Even though it's still a factory to this day, barely any came through the bridge that was once littered with dozens of trays a day. Nowadays, it still haunts me that we only receive one day at least per week. But I pushed on my thoughts, and so I finally came to the leader's room, his black leather coat wrapped around him. I'm just gonna go fix that real quick. Y'all can shut up there. Ah! Okay, we're good. Hello, I softly said in great fear. I never once was ever used in a mission because the leader thinks of me. Okay, I'm just gonna make the tiniest grammar mistakes throughout this because why not? Because the leader thinks of me as a normal civilian, even though he knows well enough I'm not. Why, hello, Kaito. Kaito. Okay, I am sorry to hurt any Japanese people who are offended by that. I'm not good at pronouncing Japanese names. Leave me alone. See, this is the kind of stuff I'm warning you about. Ah, I'm getting sidetracked. Sorry. Glad to see you here. His, Glad to see you here. His voice sounded very surprised as he already knew I was coming here. Didn't we have a policy to not call me by my actual name because of the past issues we've had? I knew I crossed the line saying that and regretted it. Ha! No one is around, and you should have known that I'm allowed to if no one is around. He started laughing again. Guess I wasn't in much trouble as I thought I was. Shit. I said, trying to mumble a little bit. Wow, he exclaimed. I already knew enough. He wasn't expecting that. Well, look, about the mission I need you to go on. Okay, I'm gonna go shush. Ah, well, look, about the mission I need you to go on. He sighed and turned his black chair to the side. Look, to put this in the perspective, the nearby clan Hallow has said a rumor that spread to here about an all my fucking god. Ah, about an all black train which was reported going through the tracks last night. He paused his conversation as the noise of a train started coming behind the wall. I mean, ah, just carry on, I exclaimed to him, and he had no trouble, and he had no trouble doing so. They exclaimed that the train's description never lined up with any of the trains that went through that day, and with the fact that it only came at night is something they said never happened. And even I know that's a fact, as we never get any trains past 9 p.m. Unless they run late, and often trains have a very specific signal for that, which the train never did. His voice started getting more nervous as he spoke that. Besides that, besides that, ah, I'm just gonna make, you guys can't stop me from making big grammar mistakes. Shut up. Besides that, I need you to walk through the forest to Hallow and ask some people who reported it some questions. Anything else I can do for this being my first mission? I'm slightly disappointed about my assignment. He said as I said it. Fucking no. Shut up. Stop yelling at me. Besides the gang battle and running through the forest, they should be much of a threat. That should be. Did it just ask me to find? Oh my god, I'm getting sidetracked. I am so sorry. We're gonna be here for a while, aren't we? Sh- besides the gang battle and running through the forest, they shouldn't be much of a threat anymore. No more. He turned back at me. But since you are, no, no one is stopping me. I'll just fix this later. I'm not gonna worry about it anymore. But since you're from Japanese origin, I have been kind of craving to try sushi, and I want to see if they would share some of their culture with ours, since we really have been allies for over 50 years now. Out of all things you want me to bring, sushi is what you want? He immediately burst into laughter to the point he sounded like a psychopath. I'm grabbing more culture than that. Whatever floats your boat, this should be a pure. Actually, no. I'm just gonna leave it. I can fix it later. Whatever floats your boat, really. Japanese culture has many cool things. He started to exclaim. Maybe. Japanese lanterns? Trust me, I already know. I'm bringing those here. If I'm even able to, I bet sushi will be easy to get. Sort of chuckle a little bit, but will focus on the task first while I'm going to head out and start my mission. Be my guest for it to do. Be my guest to do it. I really don't care. Just be careful, ever since the great dividing many gangs are out there, preferably Balon. Shiva just talking about it. But anyway, stay safe, Gaito. He sighed. For valor? For valor. Eh. Where do you think you're going? Someone said as I turned to see one of the guards standing with his rifle. His blue hat with the golden V covered the guard's head. Mission from the leader, sir? I said at him. What might that be? He demanded for me to tell him. I needed to go to Hello to ask about the sightings of the black train last night. I started getting antsy and took a step back towards the camp. Oh, then carry on. Just be careful about that. No, that's being changed immediately. Fallon, please. I have needed to send way too many search parties for people, and most were found dead. His voice started sounding more and more worried, and I couldn't blame him. After the guard walked away from the gate and went back into town, I've headed through the open forest. Though I knew Hallow was only about a 3-minute walk, the many noises that filled the area always had me aiming my gun at random areas. At one moment, I was confident I heard someone behind me. It also didn't help that this was in a way my first time outside the border. Even when I saw the walls of Hallow, I was still skeptical about the outside world. So you're the person he said he would bring, a voice said from the outside of the border, other side of the border. Let me guess, the guard of the border, I questioned him. I highly doubt he was, though. You could say that, but anyway, come on in. I shook my head in understanding before he continued. We do know about your Japanese origin, and since we are planning on doing something next week that might impact this world for the better, you can bring some Japanese culture back to Valerie if you so please. His voice changed to a little more of a happy tone, but anywho, come in. That's, you know what? I don't care if this is gonna take hours because I'm doing this. Y'all can shut up. Thank you for your service. I didn't take any time to rush into Hello, and the moment I took one step in, I was immediately surrounded by what I could, but what by what I could call mini Japan. A very special surprise awaited as a cherry blossom stood proud and happily. Its pink flowers covered it like the leaves of a tree. And it was so beautiful to see. It didn't help the fresh that the as the f- it didn't help as the fresh smell of sushi covered the air as Japanese music littered the vast majority of the roads. But I tried to ignore it and pushed on with the adjective. But then I saw something I thought was a myth standing right through the one of the roads stood a railroad track still being built. But that wasn't the only thing that shocked me. Standing fully operational was a railroad crossing. Its black and yellow color scheme looked like a bee. I stood in front of it and its former glory, its height surpassing mine. But I tried and pushed away from from the crossing. It wasn't long till I came across a road filled with Japanese lanterns and people littering the streets. I knew immediately I hit the jackpot here. Hey, aren't you that one Japanese person from Valor? Someone yelled from a red and brown house right to the side of me. Yes, why? I questioned the young man as he sat with his legs crossed. You wanted information on the black train and the plans for these new railroad crossings? He asked me as he cracked his door, waiting for me to come inside, and I gladly did so. So about this black train, when was it seen? I questioned first. 10 p.m. But before you ask, was it scheduled? It was not, and it never has been. He quickly led on without a break. Okay, besides the fact it obviously wasn't scheduled, but what was up with the train itself? I couldn't help but at this point ask at this point. As I looked around the empty dining room we just walked into. Well, for what we can tell, it definitely had an engine and three train carts, each with unknown things. He spoke out as we both sat onto the chair. Okay, then good to know. I sighed but continued. But what's up with the new railroad crossings? I see you noticed those. He started to chuckle. Those are a project we are working on. We just found an abandoned hut that is pretty huge, so our leader decided to make it a train station. In fact, trains, that needs to go. I can see so many people. Hold on. Okay. In fact, trains are able to go on the tracks to your clan because of the split rail there. He took a moment to breathe, so it seems that it was supposed to be a train station? So it seems that it was supposed to be a train station. Wow, I exclaimed. How long till it's finished? I questioned as my stomach rumbled, nearly forgetting I had forgot breakfast this morning. It's supposed to be finished today, actually, he chuckled. Anywho, you seem hungry. I do have bacon and eggs ready if you want some. I'll be fine. I'm probably going to snack anyway. He started to chuckle as I joined in. Anywho, what do you mean it's finishing today? Well, have you noticed any new railroad crossings? He questioned me. No, I've got, no, actually, is it already connected back to our train station? I questioned as he started grabbing the bacon and eggs. Yes, it is. He took a pause. And there's like 10 new crossings where you are, he finished saying as he placed his plate on the table. Well, are there any trains scheduled? I questioned him immediately. Funny you should say that. A test train from Gohan is going to be the first of 5 trains who are testing it today. However, it's going to be tested in 10 minutes, so we gotta hurry. I don't want to miss this. Started shoving down his food fast, but something else caught my eye immediately as I turned. A picture of what seemed to be a lonely girl sitting in the forest stood hung on the wall. Then I noticed the notes that were surrounding the girl like she was humming or singing. Hey, what's up with this painting? I couldn't hold the questions in any longer as he immediately stopped eating. Some urban legend, he said. Apparently this girl named Savannah ran into the woods one night and never came back. After 5 days of constant searching, they never found the girl. His voice started to get a little shaky. People at this point thought she's okay, I'm just gonna change like the She's so far away, wh far away from where they were searching from, and would be impossible to find her. She started to tremble while eating, but that's not the case that day. But that was not that case. Okay, that's yeah. You guys are watching me edit the story in live. Let's go. But that was not the case. As the day after the searches ended, some brave man stepped in to go look for her, and his discovery shocked many as the courts of Savannah stood in front of him. In fact, he even confirmed he even confirmed her death as he saw the bullet right in her head. Couldn't believe this any further. Is this actually true? I jerked out. Yes, actually, but I'm less sure about the other part, he sighed. After we confirmed her dead, many people reported reported hearing her laughter. Okay, I'm gonna just this is why we're gonna be here for a while, guys. Hearing her laughter and her singing, but some have gone to the point they they heard her violently scream, which was most likely her last reaction to the Balon killing her. Started force eating again. I could tell he had determination to see what these things in action, but as he finished eating, he already started to tell me to get out of the house and get over here. I followed along with him. I followed along with him as many others were too. Everyone, is a big day for Hallow. If the railroad crossings work as intended, and if they do, the trio of Jallo, Valor, and the newest ally Gohan shall flourish in trade. A voice called out from the other side. It was the leader of Jallo himself. No, Hallow himself, Connor. I, ah, holding his microphone proud as he stood over the other side of the stone stepping stool. So far we know only Valor has a train station, but then it doesn't get much stuff. But with these new installed train station, I'm hoping this will change. He took in a deep breath as many screamed and cheered waiting for the train while I still stood still. I couldn't believe that Gohan was now an ally with us. As far as I remember, we had a war that lasted till I was 4, and now we are here. When if these don't work as intended, a man shouted from the crowd. I don't have time for your dumb questions. You will find out if they don't work, the leader shouted really at the man in the crowd. Tra the train should arrive in about a minute onto Hello territory to test these right now. I think they are currently in our border at this given moment. Told you we should hurry up. We were almost late, the man told me. At least we still made it before it arrived. Is this the first railroad crossing here? I questioned him. Yes, otherwise the leader said it would be a dead giveaway if they worked, and we were at the last one. He said to me. Oh, I forgot to say my name, he chuckled. The name is, Joseph, he exclaimed. Mine's Gaeta. I said a little shyly as the shocked expression appeared on his face. Ah, before the train's lights were barely visible, but that visibility still caught. It wasn't long before the train's lights were barely visible, but that visibility still caused the machine to see it, and as the bell from the crossing played its wail, and it started. I have something in my nose. I cannot read this properly. And it started to make the barrier. But the test got weirder. When it came to the black pad on the machine, I'm just gonna say it. It showed two yellow arrows going both left and right, and the train started to stop, and many stood confused. Is this a malfunction of male voice crowd? Called out. No, this is a double track crossing. They are all, in fact. The leader called out. Called out. I'm just sounded more worried as another train horn started to blow. People started getting a little more worried as the train horn got louder as the first train completely stopped. What is happening? We never planned for trains to come at once. Trains to come at once today, somebody called from the other side, most likely talking to the leader. But that's when the train horn went near and blasted at us all. And what came through the tracks is something we all weren't expecting, as a black train ran through the tracks. I'm gonna fix that real quick. The tracks. Its engine roared as it honked its final horn as it sped past the barrier. Then the other train started to go, releasing its horn as it passed through. The black train was no more and was past the clan borders as the other train slowly passed by and its end was obscured by the building and passed by. The machines detected no more and released its barrier as the leader and the train captain stood in complete shock. Okay, I'm sorry. Do I have text to speech? Please tell me I have text to speech. I don't know how to edit. You guys are gonna have to watch me struggle to find text to speech. Um, oh, we're on page 7 already. Oh well, that's an issue for me to figure out later. How did that train possibly get onto the tracks? We just opened the tracks at 10 p.m. 10 a.m. It's only 10:45, 10:45 a.m. The train captain said. Everyone started getting skeptical, and even I did, and immediately started writing notes. Well, this turned into a goddamn disaster. People started to chatter about the train. Everyone, let's just move on at 4 p.m. Another train will be coming if we want to see that piece work without that black train coming back. People started to leave the area as I came back to the same house the man lived in. He set his coat on the rake. Okay, that should be rack, not rake. My apologies for making these grammar. Rack as he sat down on the couch. I don't think you need anything else now, do you? Joseph chuckled in a worried way. Pretty much. I do have one question for you, however, I exclaimed. What is it, Gaito? Asked, do you know a place where someone could give me some recipes for sushi? My leader wants a few, I exclaimed. Well, there's a sushi joint nearby. I recommend you check there. He followed up. I nodded my head and waved as I left the small house and started to go around the town. It wasn't long till a bright red building appeared in front of me with a bright neon sign with a sushi on it. But when I walked into the place was empty besides what seemed to be the owner of the joint. Ah, something's in my fucking nose. Starting to question my sanity right now. I'm sorry. I nodded my head and waved as I left the small house. No, I'm getting sidetracked. Oh, the young man shouted, but more or less, I didn't think he was an adult. I don't usually ever get people here at this time, but then again, that might just be because people are usually asleep by now. He laughed. How old are you? I quickly followed through. He started laughing. I'm only 18, but because of family heritage, I'm now the owner. He sighed. Now, what are you here for? He followed through. I'm here for some recipes, mainly for Valor's, since he's been quite curious about it, I said. But it turns out he already knew what I was going to say and quickly left to grab them. As he came back with a recipe, I noticed something. What's the other paper? I recalled. Kinda figured you were gonna ask that, he said. This is a blueprint for Japanese lanterns. I kinda figured since you're from Valor, you were gonna need these, he quickly finished. Thanks, it's best that I get going. I'm pretty satisfied with the results I got here, I exclaimed as he started to wave. I waved back and quickly ran my way to the border. Hey, safe travels, you're gonna need it, one guard said. Yeah, someone reported that they saw Gika, so I recommend you stay safe. The other guard said. They saw a Geeka, so I recommend you stay safe, the other guard said. I shook my head in understanding as I dashed my way through the forest back to Valor. As I headed back, the guards opened the gate. Hey, the leader's about to make a speech. I recommend you get over to the White Pillar stage immediately, the guard said. Okay, thanks for letting me know. As I made my way through the town, I didn't realize how fast the time flew by. I stood by one of the brand new railroad crossings. Its bell started ringing as it dropped. I couldn't believe that it's already 10, around 10. No, man, as the train slowly passed, I ran as quickly as I could to the leader to drop off the stuff. Oh, thanks for this. I'll get to this immediately after the speech. The leader said in a rush, having a rushed expression. Okay, then, I said, running into the crowd of people. Take a back. Give me a moment. Ah, everyone, I'm here to say that a replacement leader will be on his way because of addressing a surprise for Valor. The leader said to the crowd. I didn't pay much attention to the crowd's slow clapping, which was Valor's way of showing disappointment. It was a very powerful sign and showed rebelling in some circumstances, and we only have done it once. Don't be worried. I told him how we disrespect racism, and if he ever does anything racist, I'm perfectly fine with you all rebelling starting tomorrow. He will be here, so please treat him with respect, the leader sighed. And that's about it for the news, besides a potential thunderstorm in about 4 hours. But anywho, just go back and continue your normal lives. People started shoving others, trying to move away from the centerpiece of the village as the leader ran to the main building, like always. Many people sounded more worried than usual, and I wasn't sure if it was because of the storm or the temporary leader. I assumed it was both, and even I was bothered by the new leader, but I pushed away my thoughts and ignored them. I ran back to the house trying to spare as much time as I could, but my thoughts kept toying with my mind, leaving me more worried than ever before. But as I made it to my house and opened the door, Tyler stood in its wake, looking at me with anger in his eyes. Boy, you are 10 minutes late. Get in here, he said with a stern face. His shirt stood motionless as the pants stood with very obvious holes. I stood in confusion as he walked behind me and shoved me in as he slammed the door. I don't ever recall having a curfew, Tyler. I explained to him. I could already tell as I shoved past him. Well, if you don't shut your damn mouth right now, I'll punch you square in the nose. He growled at me as I've already plopped on the couch and turned on the TV. You should already know what I meant. Remember the storm, you idiot? He explained as he crossed his arms, looking like some dumbass superhero. Yeah, what about it? I questioned him while rolling my eyes. Storm preparation. You know the drill, Tyler said, grabbing the flashlights. We can't hold on to this power. You should know that, so start getting things in that basement, he shouted outside. He started making his way to the basement door. What about Falcon? I questioned. I couldn't leave that poor puppy out there to suffer. Boy, stop worrying about that damn puppy. That thing is an asshole, and I'm not bringing that demon in here. Tyler shouted as he ran upstairs to grab the deck of cards on the brown cabinet next to it. I couldn't leave Falcon out there by himself, and because of that, I dashed to the door, not even worrying about anything else. Of course, you let that dumb. Hold on. What about Falcon? I questioned him. I can't. That. Tyler shouted as he ran. Boy, stop worrying about that damn puppy. That thing's an asshole. I'm not bringing that. Okay. Of course you let that cursed puppy in. You know, I'm really having a very easy time deciding if I should beat you to damn death or not. He shouted as Falcon came bursting through the basement stairs. I started to chuckle at him as he stood in the stairway and gave me a nasty glare. Boy, shut your mouth. I'm not that cruel like you are, so I recommend you fix yourself. I shouted as I started slow clapping in disappointment, but eventually stopped to bring more stuff down. But I could tell he was angry. At at that, it wasn't long till we had what we needed down into the basement. Falcon include. Okay, hold on. I'ma just fix this mess. Down at that, it wasn't long till we had what we needed down into the basement. Falcon included. Though the basement was a very creepy place for us, it was really our only safe spot that usually is that usually is quite often the amount of storm that you that usually is used quite often. The amount of storms that happen and cause the power outages is unreal, but this basement, the very empty space, only really had a dusty wooden chair with two chairs in the back, with Falcon's dog bed and his toys on the other side. I started coming down the stairs while slamming the door shut. It wasn't long before the storm struck and cut our power from its strength. How great. There goes our power again. Tyler moaned and grabbed out a flashlight. He clicked the button to toggle it on, and it tried its best to illuminate the basement, but ultimately got barely anything. Falcon started to cry from the darkness consuming him. He always hated the dark and always tried to run out of the room, but this time he couldn't. Tyler started shuffling into the box, looking for cards, hoping to set up Rapid. It was pretty much the only thing that bonded us together nowadays, which was quite surprising to me. Though we created this game, many people in Valve started to come to us asking us how to play, and now it's a very probably hard game here. I heard some people were going to see if people in Jalo were interested in learning how to play it, since it was one, if not the only card game played now. Set up your line, Gaito. Tyler said as Falcon started whining again. Already 2 steps ahead of you. By any chance, did you land ring? Hold on, did you lantern down? No, that's gonna be ring ring a lantern down. By any chance, did you bring a lantern down? I said, already bringing out an eight of clubs, 7 of diamonds, 5 of spades, 4 of hearts, and a 10 of hearts. As my line formation. As my line formation. Tyler didn't even need to reply to the question set up a lantern by Falcon to get him to shut up. But it wasn't needed as the light shined on him dimly. He slept curled up. Tyler just shrugged and kept the lantern by him anyway, since we had the flashlights. I'll be right back. I'm here to fix this thing and grab my damn charger. I'll be right back. I don't care if none of you guys can hear me. I have arrived. I am back. Let me just put my charger in and then immediately struggle to read this thing again. Why am I doing this? I have no damn clue. Oh shit. Fuck. My Chromebook can last. My computer can last, right? Yeah. We'll be fine, guys. We'll be fine. Tyler started shuffling into the box, looking for his cards, hoping. Oh, wait, no. Can you set up the divider? Tyler questioned me as I pushed up and grabbed the cardboard divider. He pulled the deck of cards to the side and picked up a card. Yes, lucky pull, he exclaimed. And I knew I was out of disadvantage as he picked up another card and pulled the 2 of spades. Damn it, I can't do anything with that yet. I sighed as I pushed the cards over on his side. Dude, this game is equivalent to gambling in a nutshell, but good luck with whatever you got. Tyler shouted and grabbed the top card in silent disappointment. I knew what was going to come, so as I picked up from the other pile to the side, which was known as the heavy side, which was an essential pile to pick from, though at the cost of losing a turn, I took the risk and immediately grew King of Spades. I knew this was a great pull as I set him in front of my lineup. As soon as I touched the bell, but to my, uh, as soon as I touched the bell, to my surprise, Tyler didn't yell reinforcements. as Tyler didn't yell reinforcements. Instead, he just drew another card. I took this opportunity to grab a card and ended up getting a Joker. I smirked and immediately I could tell he knew he was screwed. And as soon as I pulled the Joker out, he didn't have a Jack, so he was forced to give up his ace. This immediately got him worried and got even more disappointed when he drew a Jack the next turn. After solid 2 hours, my victory was swift to come as he called the final hit. Well, it's 10. Okay, that's like 3, 5. No, we're gonna make that 8. 8 p.m. No, 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Recommend we get some sleep for tomorrow, Tyler said. I already getting his sleep, Matt, already. So I started on my business too as we turned off the lights and flat. Ignore my struggling to type here. And dozed off ready for the next day, but the next day was not something I ever want to feel again. You're up now, aren't you? Some man said. Why am I at the border? I cried out, seeing others being thrown outside the village walls. Please, you jackasses, know the rules. Racism divides us all, and you freaks aren't Americans. Now get out before I order these guards to kill you here and now. I didn't argue back and accepted my fate. I was surrounded and thrown out as the steel bars slammed shut. You're only lucky I'm allowing you to keep your stuff, Gaito. He started chuckling as he walked off as I could only lay in disbelief. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide, abandoned from the only real home I had. I now knew that I had accepted my fate as a forester, but I could already tell this was going to be way too rough. Hey, jackass, you get moving. You heard the leader, one of the guards said behind me, shooting his gun as a warning. I took the sign to immediately flee and never came back as I ran from the gate, sobs from the gate. Sobs fill, uh, Sobs filled the forest noise. The sobs are almost continuous and closer than they ever seemed. Took a deep breath and looked around the area, hoping for the source of the noise, but nothing was found. At this point, the crying was so loud I didn't even try to look for it anymore. I just tried to ignore it and drown it out, but to no avail. I wanted to scream, I wanted to shout, try to look for it, but it was no use. The source couldn't be found, and I just gave up. At this point, I'm running the other way from the source, and I couldn't think about what it was crying. What that crying sound was. Was it Balon? Was it that girl that meant missing? Was it a Cravel? Cravel? The last thought gave me a shiver down my spine. Cravels were very hostile entities, as the world called it. As the world called it, Cravels were a failed experiment the government made before it collapsed. They often were 7 feet tall and were often a pale gray color. They often lured their human prey with a human-like sod and if they spotted prey, ran at superhuman speeds and killed them. In Valor, two people reported a sighting of this creature, showing how rare they could be. But people believe many more sightings are found of them, they just never lived to tell the tale. This horrified me and got me running as fast as I could with my gun up my back. About 30 minutes, after about 30 minutes, I stopped in my track. Crying again once filled the air, but something wasn't right. The crying sound up pitch at random intervals, and it sounded near human-like, but not to the point of perfect mimication. And I scoped the place with my gun about 100 gun. And about 100 yards away stood a tall gray beast. Its claw-like hands covered its face as it stood there. It looked like a humanoid, which is strange for a crave was. The only two sightings on their clan described them as animal-like beasts and looked nothing like a human. I wanted to approach the thing, but I just couldn't. I knew what would happen, so I walked to the nearest shed down the hill as silently as I could. Luckily there weren't too many obstacles, and I decided to crash in the shed. I didn't have time to pack up because I knew I couldn't stay here for long, even though the shed was dusty and the bread had some stains. It was a relatively welcome place, same with the bed. Surprisingly, the pillow was It was a perfect white as the red blanket, as soft as a feather. I could tell this place had visitors in the past just by how clean some of the stuff in the shed was. Eventually, I decided to get some rest on the warm and soft bed as my eyes closed. It all went to black before my body left reality.